All right, this is the 5.8 part 2 guided practice with Mr. V. We are going to do the odds. So just a couple of quick things. This number 1 and number 2. So get rid of the radical. And the radical looks like that. And you can't have that in the denominator. So what you do is you multiply the top and the bottom, and then that cancels out from the bottom. And you're just left with that number. Then you got to simplify. So let's get into a couple of these. All right, so number 1, simplify. All right, so 108, I don't know off the top of my head what will go into 108, but I know it's even, so I am just going to do divided by 2. And you get 54, okay? I can break up 54, so I'm going to do 2 times, all right, 54 is 9 times 6. I can break that. 2, I can break the 9 up, so that'd be 3 times 3, and then the 6 is 2 times 3. Then you just bring your pairs out. So I got a pair of 3s, and then also a pair of 2s. I'm going to bring those out, and they're going to multiply. Okay, so what that's going to look like is going to be 2 times 3, and then what's left under the radical is just this 3 right here. So then I can simplify a little more, so it'll be 6 radical 3. All right, let's go to number 3. I have 392v squared, so 392. I know that's even, so that's going to be, if I just do what I normally do, if I divide that by 2, that's going to be 2 times 196 v squared. I can break down 196. I know that 12 goes into it, I think. But nope, I'm wrong. Let's see if 8 goes into it. Nope. Let's see if 16 goes into it. Nope. So none of those do without being a decimal, so I'm just going to divide it by 2. 196 divided by 2 equals 98. So that's 2 times 98 times v squared. 98 divided by 2 is 49. So that's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 49 times v squared. Now I know 49 is 7 times 7, so I can rewrite that. That's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 7 times 7 times v, and there's nothing else I can break up, so let's bring our pairs out. I know there's a pair of 2s, there's a pair of 7s, and a pair of v's, so 2 times 7 is 14. 14 times v is 14v. And then what's still left under the radical is a 2. All right, 98. So take a look at, so we're on number 5. Take a look at number 3. There's 98 right there. And 98 broke down into 2 times 49. So how about we just start with right there? So that's going to be 2 times 49, and then we have n to the 4th, and that's going to be 2 times 7 times 7 times n times n times n times n, and then nothing else can be broken down. So let's bring our pairs out. So I got a pair of 7s, I got 1 pair of n, I got 2 pair of n. So I just bring it out of the radical, and I'm going to multiply it. So it's going to be 7 times n. So 7 times n is 7n, and n times n is n squared. Radical 2. There's your final answer. Make sure you're circling your final answers, just so I know. All right. 7. 32 x cubed y cubed. So 32 is going to be equal to 8 times 4. And what I would recommend doing is doing the numbers first, then go to the variables. 8 and 4 can both be broken down. I know that 8 can be broken down into 2 times 2 times 2. And 4 can be broken down into 2 times 2. And so everything's broken down. Now I can just do my variables, which is 3 x's and 3 y's. Okay. So I have a pair of 2's, another pair of 2's, a pair of x's, and a pair of y's. So I bring that out and I multiply all of these on the outside. So 2 times 2 is 4, times x is x, times y is y. Now, I got rid of that, I got rid of that, I got rid of that, I got rid of that. So what's left? I have a 2 underneath, an x underneath, and a y underneath. And there you go. All right, 147. All right, I know this is going to be tricky because I don't know what 147 broken down is. It's an odd number, so how about I do 147 divided by 3? All right, so if I do 147 divided by 3, it's going to be 3 times 49, x fourth, y to the 2. Now I know 49 is 7 times 7. So it's 3 times 7 times 7. All my numbers are broken down. So times x times x times x times x times y times y. And then everything is already broken down. So let's see, we got a pair of 7's here. We got one pair of x's, another pair of x's, and a pair of y's. So I'm going to bring those out, and I'm going to get 7 times x, which is x squared, times y, and then underneath that is going to be 3. That's what's left over. All right. Now we get into our number 11 is our first one with a radical on the bottom. And we don't like that. So what we're going to do is we are going to multiply. So this is a times both the bottom by 20, radical 20, and the top by radical 20. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to give us just a plain 20 on the bottom. So then I also have to multiply the top here. So 2 radical 8 times 20. So the 2 stays the same because it's kind of like just saying there's a 1 right there. So the 2 stays the same. And then it's going to be radical 8 times 20. Now you could just literally write 8 times 20 because what we have to do is we still have to break this down. Okay, anything underneath the radical. So there's going to be 2. And then I can break the 8 down into 2 times 2 times 2. And then the 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. That's going to be over 20. So then I'm going to bring my pairs out. So I got 1 pair of 2's, 2 pair of 2's, and that looks like it's it. So I'm going to bring this out and multiply this 2 by it. So 2 times the first 2 is 4, times the second 2 is 8. What's left underneath is a 2 and a 5, so that's going to be 10. And then that's going to be over 20. Now, I'm not done yet here because I can simplify the whole number is 8 over 20. So what's the biggest number that's going to go into 8 and a 20? Well, that's going to be 4. So 8 divided by 4 is going to be 2, radical 10, and 20 is going to be 5. And that's it. All right. Let's keep going. Okay, so 13, I see that there's the radical 3. And that, I don't like that radical 3, so I'm going to multiply both the top and the bottom by just the radical 3. Okay? Now what's left is you still have this 3, and then you're getting rid of this radical sign right here, so you still have this 3. So what that's going to do is that's going to turn into 3 times 3. Then you have radical 4 times a radical 3, so it's going to be radical 12. So we can do a little bit of simplifying. So radical 12 could be 2 times 2 times 3. And underneath is 9. And then I'm going to take the 2's out, so it's going to be 2 radical 3 over 9. And I can't do any more with that. All right, 15. So what I'm going to do right away, there's nothing in the denominators, but I know there's like a pretty much like a in the parentheses, like there was a 1 on the outside. So I'm going to do 4 times 1, which is equal to 4. And then I'm just going to do 20 times 15. All right, so then I do 4, and then I can break up 20. That's 2 times 5 times 2, or 2 times 2 times 5. And then 15 is 3 times 5. Oop, not that one. Okay. So now I've got this pair of 2's there, and then I also have a pair of 5's. So I'm just going to bring that out and bring those out. So 4 times 2 is going to be 8 times 5 is 40. And underneath the radical is, nope, not 8. It's going to be 15. All right. If we keep going. So what this is saying is a radical 3x times a negative. So it's like there's a negative 1 right there, okay? So what that's going to equal is a negative and then a radical 3x times 15x cubed. And I can just break things apart now. So I have a negative 3 times x, and then times 15 is 3 times 5, and then there's 3 x's. So now I see that there is a pair of 3's, there's a pair of x's, and then another pair of x's. So I bring that out. I have to keep this negative there. So I have a negative 3 times x, which should be x squared. So I got rid of that, and that. So looks like it's just going to be with the 5 underneath. Oh, did I get them all? I did. All right, 19. So at 19, we've got this radical underneath. We don't like that. So we're going to multiply everything underneath the radical. So 5x squared, radical 5x squared, okay? And then what that's going to equal is on the bottom, it just gets rid of the radical sign. So we're going to have 5x squared on the bottom. And then, so I take this 5, there's nothing in front of here, so I just assume that's a 1. That's going to be 5 radical 4x cubed times 5x squared. right, now from there, oh, hold on 1 second. Nope, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I kept that negative in the last one. So 5x squared is still on the bottom, and then I have 4x cubed times 5x squared. So what I can do is I can start pulling things out of underneath of the radical. So it's going to be 2 times 2 times x cubed times 5 times x squared, and we still have the 5 on the outside, and then on the bottom is 5x squared. All right, and then if I want to rewrite that, if there's going to be a 5, that's going to be a 2 times 2 times x times x times x times 5 times x all over 5x squared. Then from there, we keep going, and we're going to be able to pull out the 2, pull out a pair of x's, pull out another pair of x's, and then that's all I have that doubles. So I am going to have 5 times 2, which is 10, times x, and then times another x, which is x squared, and then radical 5x on the inside. Now I'm going to have 5x squared here. Now here's the deal. Because on the outside here, there's an x squared and an x squared, I can cancel those out when I simplify. And then a number that goes in both 10 and 5 is 5, and so 5 goes into 5 one time, and then 5 goes into 10 2 times. So what I'm left with is 2 5x radical over 1, which really means 2 radical 5x. And that's it. All right, so that's all I've got for now. Remember, don't be this guy. I shouldn't say test. Quiz on Tuesday. So bring your calculators. Do not bring your remotes. Email me if you got any questions. All right, have a good day.